Our top 10 list of Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s experiences with Sarah Bridges and her son, number 10, Sarah Bridges, a psychologist from Minnesota, met Robert F. Kennedy Jr. with a monumental stack of scientific studies, 18 inches of documents, many of which were peer-reviewed studies about vaccine safety. Robert was initially skeptical, but agreed to look through the studies, not knowing how dramatically this encounter would change his perspective on vaccine safety and the growing concerns about potential links to autism. Number 9, Porter Bridges, a healthy child before vaccines. Sarah's son, Porter Bridges, was a healthy child before receiving a series of vaccines at age 2. Shortly after receiving these vaccinations, Porter lost his ability to speak, toilet train, and began exhibiting behaviors consistent with autism. This dramatic shift in his health was the catalyst that led Sarah to investigate the potential connection between vaccines and autism, a topic that had been largely dismissed by mainstream medicine at the time. Number 8, the $20 million Vaccine Court Award. The Bridges family's story took a pivotal turn when the Vaccine Court awarded them $20 million after ruling that Porter's autism was vaccine-related. This landmark decision was significant because it was one of the first instances where a legal body recognized the link between vaccines and autism. It lent credibility to what many had considered an outlandish theory and set the stage for a broader, more open discussion about vaccine safety. Number 7, a mother's mission to prevent similar outcomes. Sarah's mission became clear. She wanted to prevent other children from experiencing the same devastating outcomes as her son. Armed with scientific studies and a personal testimony, Sarah began advocating for more rigorous safety protocols and greater transparency in vaccine safety research. Her personal experience with Porter's regression was now the foundation for a larger fight against what she saw as the failure of public health agencies to adequately address the risks vaccines pose to children. Number 6, scientific studies in the 18-inch stack, new insights into vaccine safety. The 18-inch stack of studies that Sarah presented to Robert contained a wealth of peer-reviewed research. Upon reviewing the studies, Robert was struck by the discrepancies between what public health agencies claimed about vaccine safety and what the studies actually suggested. Many of the studies examined the neurological effects of vaccines, including the presence of neurotoxins like thimerosal and aluminum adjuvants in vaccines, which have been linked to a variety of neurological disorders. Number 5, the vaccine autism link, controversial yet compelling evidence. As Robert pored over the studies, he was introduced to compelling research that pointed to a possible link between vaccines and autism. While public health officials and the media dismissed this idea, the studies in Sarah's stack presented a different picture. Research from prominent scientists, including Dr. Andrew Wakefield's controversial 1998 study, suggested a potential link between the MMR, measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, and autism, a finding that was later retracted under duress but not before igniting a broader debate on vaccine safety. Number 4, the challenges of speaking out against vaccine safety narratives. Sarah soon found that speaking out against the vaccine safety narrative was an uphill battle. Public health officials, the media, and many in the scientific community dismissed her concerns as baseless. She was labeled an anti-vaxxer, a term that has been weaponized to dismiss anyone questioning vaccine safety. Despite this, Sarah remained committed to her cause, driven by the desire to prevent other parents from experiencing the same heartbreak. Number 3, the role of legal and political influence on vaccine safety research. One of the most disturbing aspects of Sarah's research and advocacy was the realization of how legal and political forces have shaped vaccine safety research. As Robert delved deeper into the literature, he found that much of the vaccine safety research was funded by the very companies that stood to profit from vaccines. This raised significant concerns about conflicts of interest and the integrity of the scientific process in areas with high financial stakes, like pharmaceuticals. Number 2, the emotional toll on parents of children with autism. The emotional and psychological toll on parents like Sarah, whose children developed autism after vaccination, is a subject that Robert often highlights in his discussions. The trauma of seeing their children regress, often without any answers from medical professionals, can be overwhelming. In many cases, parents find themselves isolated in their search for answers, as they are labeled as conspiracy theorists or misguided by the very institutions that are supposed to protect their children. Number one, a call for greater transparency and accountability. Finally, Robert's advocacy for vaccine safety is rooted in a call for greater transparency and accountability from both government agencies and pharmaceutical companies. He argues that the public has a right to know the full range of risks and benefits of vaccines, and that the scientific community should not be afraid to engage in open, honest discussions about the potential dangers associated with vaccination, particularly for vulnerable populations like children.